drinking wouldn't have allowed me to explore this other area of me and kind of was keeping me at this level. Like drinking, when you're drinking a lot, never elevates you. It never progresses you forward. All it does is just keep you here. Keeps you here. You know, you never have heard anybody ever say that I am really glad I started drinking again. Nobody's ever said that because there's no reason to be glad if you've stopped and you've seen the positive aspects that drinking has made towards your life being improved in every way, shape, or form. It's like there's no reason to look back, and that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm really not even like, oh, I'm 100 days sober. I hope I can make it 100 more. I'm almost like drinking isn't even a thing for me anymore. I don't drink, and life has gotten so much better without drinking in every way. So I know a lot of people hit me up on Twitter about being sober. I know a lot of people always ask me questions about it. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. I want to form a place where people can get together and talk about issues with addiction. It doesn't have to be limited to alcohol. It can be any other addiction. I know there's every addiction out there. And even if you're having a hard time in life with depression, if you're having a hard time in life with your family, with work, anything, I know that everybody needs somebody to talk to, and not everybody has somebody to talk to. So I'm going to use Ruin Your Day as a platform for that. Every week on Wednesdays, I haven't decided a time yet, probably around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to have Ruin Your Day live for an hour. And basically what's going to be happening is the chat is going to be live, and that's going to be used as the floor for everybody to talk. I might be on a video feed answering questions to the chat. I might pull up some music that Ruin Your Day made to play. I might play some video in the background. It's going to be sort of a free-form vehicle type of feed. There's not going to be really a set thing that we're doing. The only thing that I want to go on is I want people to feel like it's a safe place to come into and talk and vent, talk to other people, maybe give advice. I'll be in there if anybody wants to ask any questions about being sober. I can give whatever advice I can for that. And yeah, essentially, I just think there needs to be a place like that. I think AA works really well for a lot of people because it's a community. It's a strong-knit community. You have a sponsor that holds you accountable for not drinking. You have other people that are going through the same thing as you. You realize there's a whole world out there of people that just don't drink. And that's rare these days, honestly. So I want there to be a place like that on Ruin Your Day doesn't have to be just limited to alcohol. It could be anything. You know, like my parents went through some heart problems this year, and that really devastated me. So, you know, I needed somebody to talk to about that. My ex-girlfriend's dog that I really love got cancer. My close friend just had cancer. So it's been tough for me as well this year, and I'm really thankful that I've had Ruin Your Day to talk to you guys about battle rap and forget about the troubles in my life, but I want to give back, and I want to create a platform where we can all come together and sort of be each other's shoulder to lean on every now and then. So just wanted to make this video to talk about me getting sober, my experience with it. Honestly, to wrap this up, being sober is like probably the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. Me breaking up with my ex-girlfriend that I love to this day has been the best thing that's ever happened to me too as well. It's really like jump-started me to make big improvements in my life that I'm really proud of. And yeah, I mean, I think anybody out there that's struggling with addiction, the first question you need to ask for yourself, if you're thinking that you might have a drug problem, alcohol problem, any sort of problem, is if I'm asking myself if I have a problem, I might have a problem. Do you want to take the next step to solving it? Do you want to get clean? Do you want to get sober? And all I can say is being sober is amazing. It's great. I would never trade it for anything. It works really well for me. Other people can drink responsibly. I'm not one of those people. I can't drink responsibly at all. So, yeah, guys, I just want to thank you all for helping me through my year of sobriety. You guys really made a huge difference in my life. I want to thank everybody out there that supported Ruin Your Day, all the patrons, all the people that did a watch episode, all the guests, all the people that tuned in for watch, everybody that bought merch, everybody that bought music. It means the world to me. So thank you guys. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Ruin an Hour, the stream where it's a safe place to just discuss anything from addiction, sobriety, to life's troubles, relationships, jobs, anything you want to talk about. This is a safe place and a judgment-free zone. I started this stream based off the principle of me getting sober and thinking that it would be nice to have a stream that was live once a week for people to come together as a community and talk about any issues they might be having in life, because I feel like that's a great aspect of AA and other benefit groups such as that. So it's kind of the rundown of the show. Today we're doing something pretty special. We're going to have a guest on for the first time. I don't really know if this is going to be a reoccurring thing, but this person is a big icon in the battle rap community. He also has been dealing with addiction issues himself, and that's Lush One. He's a good friend of mine, and he agreed to come on the show and just talk about his journey through trying to get sober. So we're going to talk to him about that, and going to operate a little bit different today. The chat isn't on the screen, but I'm going to be talking to you guys for the first part of this show. Lush is almost here, and yeah, Lush won't be able to read the chat. I'm going to be asking him questions that you guys dish out, and we're going to go from there. But how are you guys doing? Is there anything you guys want to talk about before we get Lush in here? How's everybody's day? My day has been really good. I don't know how to say your name, CRX Pert 1. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Social Assassin, Matt, what's up? 23 days. That's huge, dog. Congrats on that. But yeah, what up, dude? The man, the myth, the legend, in the place to be.
Hey.
That water's right there. It's for you.
Lit. Awesome. Yeah. Let me upgrade my water real quick.
If you want to water that, that's one there for you too. Yeah.
Is it where do I sit? Do we
No, this is perfect right here. Yeah, so
I don't need to see the chat.
Yeah. So, we got my good friend Nick, Lush One.
What up, guys? What's happening?
He's agreed to come by and talk to y'all. How you doing, dude?
Doing good, man. Doing really, really good.
Hell yeah.
You know, anyone that is friends with me definitely knows, but even people that kind of just like get the cursory glances into my personality by seeing, you know, the windows of time when I'm on YouTube or at an event, they can kind of, my health is very, if I'm healthy or not, it's pretty obvious, you know what I mean? And anyone that's been paying attention to the battle rap scene for the past decade or so has seen a fluctuation of different health patterns with me.
Yeah, the waves.
Yeah, you know, the constant ebb and flow of my insanely addictive personality, which has manifests itself in a number of ways.
Yeah.
And, right now, I'm in a period where I'm actually, it's the most lucid I've been, the most clear-headed I've been, and the least, you know, I'm not AA sober.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm not doing any drugs.
That's amazing.
And the only I'm on a doctor prescribed medicine and a whole doctor prescribed regime to help get off of benzodiazepines.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because
Absolutely.
I'm like super ignorant to
Absolutely.
even what benzos are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people are, but, you know, I don't know a thing about them. So if you want to talk about the process, because it's not like alcohol where you can just stop. you know?
Well, and alcohol is something that you're not supposed to just stop either.
Exactly.
Technically, in fact, people might not be aware of this, and you could, all you Google warriors, go look this up, and this can be validated. This is substantiated, scientifically proven evidence. There is only two type of drug withdrawals that are fatal. And potentially fatal.
Yeah.
And that's alcohol and benzodiazepine.
Isn't that what Amy Winehouse passed away from?
Yes. Yeah.
Word. So it can be pretty extreme for your health. Just
very extreme. Now, people think that people are going to say, "Oh, heroin addiction is the worst, withdrawal." And as far as painfully and as far as what you go through and how sick you get, absolutely correct. Heroin is, but heroin withdrawal in and of itself is not fatal. You will not die from you'll just be sick as a bitch, puking, sweating, temperature, drastic temperature changes, all that. But if you chain somebody to a fucking bed, they'll you know what I mean? Live. Like other drugs like crack cocaine, methamphetamine, none of those really have a serious withdrawal at all, to be honest with you. And this is coming from somebody that's withdrawn off of some of these drugs myself, and have seen people go through all of these withdrawals.
Yeah, you have experience.
I've been in and out of treatment centers since I was 16 years old. You know what I mean? I done seen it all in that shit. You know what I mean? Addiction runs deep in my family. Growing up in West LA, there's a huge drug culture out here that, at a young age, we kind of all get exposed to a lot of things that most people in other regions and cities don't have to see or deal with until they're much older.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, because you're like, this is one of the hot pockets of the world, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, especially growing up here, I can only imagine what you're exposed to at a young age.
Yeah, in the Reagan 80s and all that, know. And I had two older brothers. I have an older brother who's 12 and one who's 14 years older than me. And so, they were doing their thing when they were in high school, and I was, 4 or 5 years old. And first time I ever saw cocaine, I was 3 years old, playing on the couch that I would play in my family living room every morning. And my older brother had been partying the night before and had a little part of an 8-ball that he left out there, and I was apparently going for the bag, trying to check it out, see what this sweet sugar is, the original Fun Dip. And my mom thankfully caught me, seen it before it happened, and went 18 dummy crazy on my brother as a result, as she should. Now, benzodiazepine, so just to clarify a few things, people think that like Oxycontin, Norcos, Percocets, and Xanax, they're all the same kind of drug. They're actually not. All the previous drugs I mentioned, like Norcos, Percocets, OC, fentanyl, that's all in the narcotic family. That's all in the opiate family. They're all derivatives of opiate. The same type of drug heroin is, codeine, morphine, lean. They're all the same thing, and they're classified as painkillers. It's pain medication. Okay. That's their purpose. Now, benzodiazepine, which is Xanax, Klonopin, Valium, those are the three most famous
those aren't
ones.
Painkillers?
They're not painkillers.
Okay.
They're anti-anxiety medication. And that's why back in the day they became the bored housewife's drug of choice. Like, you feel me? Like, oh, I know my husband's cheating on me. Yeah. I know that my kids are fucking up in school, and one of them might potentially even be a school shooter for all I know, but he doesn't have any friends. But so I'll just take a Valium and just have a fake smile on my face because I feel no anxiety. And for me, I think one of the reasons why I've been able to be as, I wouldn't consider myself a super functional person, but for somebody that's indulged and been a slave to my addictions as much as I have over the years, the fact that I've been able to accomplish as much as I have, and even am able to sustain conversations like this, and haven't been completely destroyed by my drug use, is the fact that my drug addiction wasn't necessarily centralized on one specific drug. You know what I mean? I would
just are
go
pretty
through
much addicted to
phases. You know what I mean?
everything,
Like
right?
I would take ecstasy for days on end for like a year straight until I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good anymore. And then I start on the coke. You feel
Yeah.
me? Like, and then I'm two up, and then I start,
So
taking downers.
did you ever like you were just constantly addicted to like the next thing? Is that what you're
Pretty
saying?
much. It was like I think it was always like it was different things, and it was like once I would realize that something was like deteriorating myself so much,
Yeah.
I would kind of gradually veer in another direction. And I don't know if it wasn't necessarily a conscious decision,
Yeah.
but that's that little glimmer of light inside all of us that wants us to live. You could call it God, you could call it,
Yeah.
but what's something inside of me instinctually knew that if I kept taking this particular substance,
Yeah.
it was going to be all bad. But I would justify it by being like, well, I'm not taking that anymore. I'm taking this. But instead of destroying this part of my brain, I'm
Yeah.
destroying this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
And that's been happening since you're like 16?
since I was probably 12 years old. Really,
Oh,
you know what
wow.
I'm saying? Yeah, I've been doing drugs since I was 12 years old. 11, 12, started smoking weed, drinking,
Yeah.
and I think as far as the benzodiazepines, the Xanax, which have become such an epidemic, there's a few things I really want to touch on specifically regarding them. Just to give a little bit of the history. Now, I had been taking them on and off somewhat recreationally as just a part of my excessive drug regime from the time I was in high school, but was never really dependent on them. There's other drugs that were we call them DOCs, drug of choice.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
But it would progressively over the years, I would take a little bit more and more, and it was around the time when when it got fully out of control, and I was full blown became addicted to Xanax, was around the time when I first started working with Alki David and for Film On, and things were going well for me at the time overall.
Yeah.
King of the Dot West was cranking.
Yeah, I
you know
mean,
what I'm
this is
saying?
the first time you had like a super big influx of income too,
Correct.
where it was like, whoa, I have like a lot of money all
Correct.
of a sudden, Not even like a lot of money, but
For
it's
me,
like,
a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
But like, I could totally understand that too, and like if you
Even having a bank account, a credit card,
Yeah.
like owning my own car, like
totally,
you know what I'm saying,
and having an addictive personality matched with the income to like go
right
through it too.
Right, that did a lot, and I think a lot of it had to do with just working, like having my entire future and the future of so many other people, because I had a bunch of people working for me.
Yeah, you had a
and all
team.
these I had a
Yeah.
team, and I had all these different battlers that I was trying to
Yeah.
put in position there. Like all these people kind of depended on me, like all of that pressure, and the fact that the guy who was my boss at that time was very unstable and very unpredictable himself.
Yeah.
And like basically every single paycheck that I got, any single thing that any progress we would make, he would just at the snap of a finger remove it, even if we had contracts signed. And he was bipolar as fuck and constantly changing his mind. So
Yeah.
just dealing with that stress and anxiety, you know what I mean, and just dealing with at the time there was multiple events. There was that event we were planning. There was the Ether event. There was Battle of the Bay 7, the Teddy Grizzle event, and then there was the first Mass, all of which I opened the budgets for.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had three events with over $100,000 budgets simultaneously
Yeah.
being planned. That's the most money that I've had any type of influence or overseen in my entire fucking life. So
Yeah.
that in and of itself was very stressful, and I was also, as many people often do, because Xanax, what it tends to do is it makes you very spacey and tired. Although it takes the edge off, it takes the anxiety off, but you're kind of like this, you're slumped.
Yeah.
So then you need something inevitably
To pick you back up.
so then I was taking a lot of Adderall, and that became my like daily cocktail.
Dual. Okay. Were you
know?
getting Xanax from a doctor?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I was not, and that's and
Was it ever prescribed to you?
yes, it has been prescribed
Okay,
to me.
all right.
Yes, actually not specifically Xanax, but other benzodiazepines. Valium has been prescribed to me. Other ones
Yeah.
have been prescribed to me.
Okay.
Yes, but that once that situation wound up falling apart, and I lost that job, and when I made that whole move going in that direction, a lot of my colleagues, I was working for King of the Dot beforehand, that whole situation left a really bad taste in everybody's mouth. The whole community kind of was, I was kind of, I was a Kenny Lewis of the moment, you know what I mean? But just like in a much more serious way. I was
For sure.
The most hated man in battle rap for a period of time there, and that was a stark contrast. And I'd already been through the ebbs and flows, but there's times where I'd been literally the most. I'm like what you are now. I've been
like
the most beloved figure.
Yeah, and
nobody
then it's like going from there to there, like
Right.
constantly, is like
Right.
so extreme.
a very stark contrast.
Yeah.
And I was kind of I would kind of try to justify it by being like, well, you know what, I'm feeding my family, you know what I mean? Like I'm married at the time, I'm paying for my and this is my job, and I don't really give a fuck. But deep down, it was kind of eating at my soul because so much of my esteem and happiness and fulfillment as a person has come through my contributions through hip hop and battle rap culture, and to be looked at as like a fucking, you know what I'm saying, like as like the Tyga of battle rap at the moment, you know what I mean? It definitely hurt.
For sure.
So after I lost that job, in order to supplement that income, I had to do things that weren't necessarily were illegal, and the amount of stress, and without getting into too much detail, because I'm not trying to glorify it, it's not like there's really open pending cases about me or whatever, but it's not the type of thing that I feel like this forum needs to be glorified or whatever.
I mean, people got to do what people do to get by.
Yeah.
So.
And the fact that what I was doing required me to do other illegal things, like have weapons to protect myself, and and I'm dealing with a bunch of clientele who I wasn't really didn't know if they what they would do, if they were gonna be undercover cops, if they were gonna try to rob me, if one of my neighbors was snitching on me, if they were, there's so many different things that could happen. So I'm walking around, not lacking, you guys know what that means, you know what I mean? I wasn't lacking, and anyone that knows me knows that's not my personality, like I'm not like a bitch or nothing, but I'm a kind-hearted person.
Yeah.
I'm a good person. I'm an artist. You know what I mean? I focus on creative endeavors, and this was people that had been friends with me for years that saw me during that period of time, and this is around the time Cadillac passed. You know what I mean? Just shortly before to shortly after. They were like, they could barely even recognize me. My energy was so different, and I was taking the Xans to kind of just literally deal with the intense amount of anxiety that I was feeling, and then the thing about benzodiazepines, once you have been on them long enough, you literally cannot just, if you cold turkey stop taking them, it literally can do central nervous system damage to you that's irreparable. You could have seizures, you could die. I was close to having seizures a couple times.
So you tried the cold turkey stop?
Even like, if I had, let's say I ran out of my of Xans and I couldn't get a new, my plug was dry and I was trying to, even just like a 2-day period of not having any, I was close to seizing up, feel my heart beating faster and faster. There was one time that was super crazy, actually, that had happened shortly after, it was literally a few days after Caddy had passed. And I was linking up to this with his brother and a bunch of other people from AA to discuss the memorial thing that we wound up doing, you know what I'm saying, at the what's now known as the bunker. And at that thing, they when I pulled up, I hadn't been on Xans for a couple days, and the people there saw me and were like, "Yo, you don't look good." And one of them had just detoxed off of Xanax themselves and was like in a hospital for over 2.5 months, and it was this whole serious treatment program and this whole regime. And she happened to have some of the medication that she used to detox.
Interesting.
And saved my life by giving me some. She gave me a bottle of it, and I kept a couple hidden because my wife at the time, my ex-wife now, was very she's Canadian, and up there and in foreign countries they're not as the pharmaceutical industry is not as crazy as it is in America. It's like other countries' perception of America is, oh, you Americans think you just need to take a pill and it solves everything.
Word. So she wasn't.
So what happened, I came home and showed her like, hey, this medication is gonna help me get off the shit that you hate me for, you know what I mean? And all she heard was, this is medication, and she saw it and flushed it down the toilet. Yeah. And I wound up having to go back to the streets to get it, and was back on it. The most dangerous thing about Xanax is nowadays you don't know what the fuck you're taking, especially if you're getting it off the streets, if you're not getting doctor-prescribed medication.
Yeah.
So much of it is cut with this fentanyl shit, which is...
so that's... Okay, interesting.
Yeah, pretty much all drugs are cut with fentanyl now. Even uppers are cut. Cocaine now is cut with... You got to be careful with the cocaine you do. Even crystal meth, which is like the antithesis.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. One of the main reasons why these drugs are being cut with it, in particular cocaine, these drugs are being cut with it because, like I said, yes, you could become addicted to coke and them drugs, but they don't have the same level of physical dependence, you know what I mean, as to where if you stop for a few days, you might have cravings and shit, but you're not gonna be addicted to it anymore. So
fentanyl does that?
What fentanyl does is, let's say I'm a dope dealer and I'm selling coke and I really want you to be strung out on it. You feel me? And fools aren't. Well, I'll throw some fentanyl in it, and not only will it stretch it and make it go longer, so the coke's more expensive, so I can, you know what I'm saying, sell more coke. Yeah. But motherfuckers are finna now develop a dependence to it because the fentanyl is so addictive.
Oh, interesting.
So there's that. And the reason why it was the first drug that it was getting cut with, besides other narcotics, besides heroin and other downers, was Xanax. And a reason why is because, well, if you take Xanax, and normally one of the first things it's going to do is make you feel relaxed and then tired. And then, so the fentanyl will make you tired as well when you take it. Yeah. So people, it's a good way to fake the Xanax effect. Is you give you take you buy some Xanax off the streets, and you think it's Xanax, but it's really not. You know what I mean? You eat the fentanyl Xanax, and your first effect is, it makes you tired, and you fall asleep. So you think, it's real, but then you wake up later and you feel kind of shitty, and you don't your benzodiazepine has not been fulfilled within you, so you're actually getting a little bit sick and you're feeling shitty, and then people wind up taking more and more, and boom, next thing you know, overdose, you're dead.
Yeah.
This has happened to so many people.
Interesting. So I want to kind of
people
ask
in our community that have passed, that was their cause of death without was they thought it was Xanax and it was fentanyl.
Crazy. So when did you decide to kind of back off everything?
I've been wanting to get off the benzos for a couple years. You know what I mean? Like a few.
I know that you've had a rough couple years too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of when times are really hard, sometimes you can go one or two ways. You can go into your addictions, and that's kind of the easy thing to do because it feels comfortable and you want to numb the bad stuff that's happening, right?
Right.
The other way is to go the opposite, and that's the really hard way.
Right.
So I definitely know you've had a rough last year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So was that out of that you found this want to get sober off those?
I had been literally there's periods of time where over the past few years where I just felt so shitty. I looked in the mirror, could barely even recognize what I was looking at. They say you are what you eat, right? I was taking so much of that bullshit, I felt like I was a fucking walking Zanny bar.
Yeah, word.
Don't mean me to death with that one, please.
Yeah,
You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
but literally, I felt like it was so much a part of my being that, like, you know, I was, and certain things that, you know, I wanted to, that were big wake up calls to me were looking at, like, first of all, listening to a lot of the music that I made over the past couple years, and just how it's like literally like I was a different artist. It was like a different tempo, like everything's all slow and something like this. 'Cause like literally that's what I was. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting.
and I would look back at that and be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you feel me? Like, this low key whack. You feel me? Like some of it I pulled off, and then a lot of it I'm like, yo, like, I'm actually a really good rapper. Why did I, like, where did this, what happened? You feel me? And then, seeing myself, looking back at me hosting certain events, and even looking at myself on watch. There is I remember hearing you say that, you know what I mean, on your like watch, like looking back at certain watches, and I think you said your watch with Diz, Hollow, and Roan, I think.
Yeah, I passed out because I got super drunk. Yeah, when I look back on that, and I'm like, it's funny, I can always watch, there's like, whenever there's beer right here, and it's like, you know, I haven't drank in over a year, but like whenever I somehow stumble across an old watch, I see the beer, and then I just look at myself, and I look so fucking different.
Right.
Maybe it's like unnoticeable to a lot of people, but I can tell like right away. I look like I have a fucking suit on, like a fat suit almost.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I know. I mean, you definitely had a little bit of water weight.
Yeah,
from the,
and then also
the
like
redness.
Yeah, and like around my like, cheeks, I don't know. It's just so fucking crazy what alcohol does to your like body.
It's just kind of like, it's interesting though, because I've known you for what, 12 years now, and the whole time I've known you, you were a heavy drinker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for
so
real.
like,
Yeah.
and it definitely got progressively more and more over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so I would kind of, it was just par for the course. I would kind of just expect you to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, especially a lot of the times when, you know, I'd be seeing you, would be at events, or we'd be kicking it, video shoots, whoop-de-whoop, and fools, you know, that's an environment where it's totally socially acceptable to do that.
Totally.
But, for me, it was watching back, and me and Marissa were watching a watch from some, I think it was, if not the end of last year, early this year, and we were watching, me and Saint and you watching battles, and I was like,
word.
I was like, damn, I look like I have fucking Down syndrome or some shit. Like, I was like, no offense to Down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like, I was just like so fucking slow. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm, you know, like the fire in my eyes was gone. Like, I'm a quick-witted person. If you say a lot about me, but you know, you can't say that I'm not quick. And I'm not, it doesn't take me a long time for things to register in my mind. And
For sure.
Watching that, I was like, yo, I was humiliated just at the way that I looked. And it's cool though, because I use that as a frame of reference of what I don't want to look like.
Yeah.
How I don't want to be.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, on one hand, it kind of sucks that it's out there publicly, but I've kind of taken the mindset of like, I would rather kind of be an open book, because not only does it kind of help me, but it helps a lot of other people, and I'm not ashamed of anything.
Look,
you know.
Yeah, so. And I'm the same way. And like, honestly, yeah, is it scary for me to be here talking about this shit so candidly when I've been so judged? When it's always like the narrative has always been, oh, Lush is a fucking crackhead, Lush is a basshead.
But the thing is, when you're coming out and being like, yeah, I've had problems with addiction, I think people are less inclined to be like, whatever, you're fucking junkie, because then they empathize with you as a human more.
You would think that, but they still, you know, so when you do something they don't like, or when you relapse or whatever. Like, here's the thing that I really want to impress. If you guys glean one message of mine from today, the number one thing that I really want to put out there is, I'm not saying it's okay to fuck up. Don't fuck up. You feel me? But if you do, the mark of a champion is not how many times he's in the winner's circle. It's how he gets up off the motherfucking canvas when he gets knocked down. And I've been knocked on that canvas several times, and lo and behold, by the grace of God, I grabbed the motherfucking ropes and pulled myself back up. And here I am, one last time, fighting for my motherfucking life.
That's true.
And, you know, as upset as I've been, and I've talked about, having suicidal thoughts on here, what a dark place I was in before, prior to, reconnecting with Chase and Ilmac, and the whole 667 thing popped off, and brought me back musically. Like, if it was before then, I was super depressed. And then my divorce came, and then all these, just one thing after another, all these deaths of all these close people to me, one after another. And then, everything kind of came to its worst period, I would say, right around it was like, I remember the day that Nipsey died, actually.
Me too.
I was so fucking depressed. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I had, yes. And it wasn't just because of his death, but that was just a strong accent. It was like, oh, this is going wrong. I'm so sad about this, and this is so overwhelming. Oh, and fucking my favorite rapper who meant so much to my city and community. Like, I was scared that, that there's going to be another gang war in my city, another riot in my city. And like, by the grace of God, Nipsey's message was so powerful that, although yes, there have been bad things that have happened, but overall, it hasn't been as bad as where my mind
for sure
was taking it. You know what I mean? Like, as someone that literally saw the smoke from the LA riots from my fucking house, my parents' house, which wasn't in a bad neighborhood, but the whole city was, so destroyed by that shit. And PTSD at a young age, but that day was a real big catalyst for me of change. And it's funny because that same day was the day that me and Marissa started really talking, and you feel me, like when she hit me up, and I was in such a dark place, and she had hit me up, and I was like, damn, am I sensing kind of I've been homies with this girl for a couple years, I'm sensing a bit of a flirty tone in her voice right now. And I don't know what it was, but it was around that time where I was like, I knew that there's no way that this woman would come out and visit me in my city and see how dysfunctional my life was, see how in debt that I was, see how I'm literally living in, it looks like a fucking abject squalor. It's like I couldn't shower for weeks. I couldn't, get out of bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just, everything was just, my room was just like dog piss on dog piss. You know what I mean? Like on empty fucking pill bottle on, all this shit. It's like, there's no way this woman is going to want to stay with me or be with a person that's like this, and if she does, then she needs help her damn self. You know what I mean? So that was kind of the inspiration for me to start doing it right. And I'd been trying it my own way for so long, I'm gonna wean myself off of the Zans. I'm gonna start taking less and less and less, but I never would. As soon as something somewhat stressful would happen, or I saw something on the internet I didn't like, or like someone, like my song didn't have as many views as I wanted, or whatever. Any old excuse, you feel me? Like, oh, okay, let me, I'll take. I'm not gonna take a half a pill. I'm gonna take a whole one. You know what I mean? And
so how is that changed now? Because it's like you guys have been together for a minute, and you look a lot better, man. Like,
thanks.
I could totally tell the first time I saw you. I'm like, he's healthier,
And it's crazy how quick it was, because like at Town Business, I believe you're probably referring to. And at Town Business, I was like the early stages of my detoxing. Very early. Like, I was like, it's crazy how many people said what you just said. Like, close homies of mine, even random fans, even people that don't like me, would be like, damn, like, Lush looks a little less like a bass head right now. And like that was literally, I was feeling so squirrely. Literally the night of Town Business, I couldn't sleep. I got maybe 2 hours of sleep that whole weekend. And was it after day one or day two? I woke up in the morning crying. The second day,
because it was just so much and it being over.
I'd felt, it was just like a mix of emotions, and I'm getting used to this. Is the big thing about benzodiazepines, since it directly relates to your anxiety and your comfort level as a human being. You know what I mean? Like I was used to getting comfortable in my own skin, and oftentimes what happens to those of us that have this affliction, when we start to get sober, we're getting used to the feelings that we haven't felt for years. And we're coming to terms, not only that, since like Xanax is such a fucking mind eraser. It's like the Men in Black red light. You feel me? Like that. I'm being confronted with all the fucked up things that I did. You feel me? Like, and just like the trail of wreckage that I've caused in my path, and all these things are kind of coming at once. And then contrasting it with the high of the great energy of that event and being around so much positive energy and people giving me good feedback, and then just the crash from that, like, and I just started getting really dark thoughts, and I was thinking, like, man, like they're not gonna remember me, like people like they're not gonna remember me. Like, what am I fucking doing with my life? I just wanted to do something creatively that makes an impact. All I care about is hip hop, you know what I mean? And I want to do, but it's like, damn, maybe they're not gonna, maybe my contributions aren't good enough. Maybe my music isn't good enough. Maybe my battle rap content, is passing me by. And
so is it that voice in the back of your head that kind of like gets you to, it like triggers you, like to taking it?
Absolutely.
So how do you calm that voice now?
But now what I do is there's a lot of things. First and foremost, before I get into that, I just want to just finish this one point. My bad, sorry. Basically, that culminated in me being like, well, someone's got to remember me. You know what I mean? Like, my friends, some of these fools are going to be pretty famous. I know that some of these fools, like, I don't know, like Yomack or Geechee, maybe some of these fools are going to be, they're going to be known.
Yeah.
And they're going to be remembered. So they got to fucking talk about me. They got to sing about me. And then I started thinking about that Kendrick song, Promise You Will Sing About Me. And I started playing that song, and my beautiful girlfriend had to wake up to her super masculine boyfriend crying his eyes out listening to Kendrick at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, that's cool, like, man. You gotta let it out. I mean, you're lucky you can have that emotional release. A lot of people can't do that too. So.
Yeah, and I'm lucky I have such an incredible woman by my side who actually, just gave me a hug and lifted me up at that moment, and was
that's beautiful.
there to talk to me. But I wish I could, I wish I could say that I would still be on this path if she hadn't come around. But I can't lie and say that I necessarily would. But
for sure.
But no matter who you are, there's got to be something inside you that you want. There's something that you love. There's someone you don't want to let down, whether that's yourself, whether that's your mom, no matter what it is, whether it's the you that you want to be, you know what I mean? You have to find that. So now what I do, beyond the number one most important thing is that I am on a doctor prescribed regimen to detox myself. Now, I had gone to the doctor once, I think before Town Business. I went to the doctor once and got a prescription, and but the doctor's expensive, you know what I mean? I have some health insurance.
It's not going to cover the whole thing.
Not like that, and it's not for psychological things. And
for sure.
And my parents are older, and they don't even have the same money that they used to have, you know what I mean? But my parents have already sent me to so many rehabs and shit. They wouldn't do that anyway. Like, and I'd even discussed it with them at times, and they'd be like, well, you should see. There's a program called Music Cares, which everybody should be aware of. So if you're a musician, you don't even got to be famous. You could be way less known than me. You could be like, I know people that have, you know what I mean, like have like fucking like a few SoundCloud songs and like, you know what I mean, like opened up for fucking you know what I'm saying, Dilated People 7 years ago. And they're able to qualify for a $30,000 grant for Music Cares to send them to rehab, you know what I mean?
That's
so
cool.
That's something, look that up. Anybody in the music field that wants help or is interested in treatment, look into Music Cares.
That's amazing.
I flirted with all those ideas, and I didn't go through it. I got my first prescription, and then I was like, you know what? The doctor showed me what I need to do. I saw the doses that I need to wean myself off. I'm just gonna do this shit myself. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Like, and you need to, like, there's certain things that come up and complications, and you need to be very aware of your exercise regimen, or just like the what you're putting in your body, how much water you're drinking. There's so many variables that your doctor will regulate for you, and so I tried to do that, and I was I had somebody who I knew that had had prescription of Xanax that was real, so I was taking real pills. But it still wasn't weaning me off of it properly, and then I wouldn't, listen to it. And when that ran out, I had to get some other ones, and turns out they weren't real. And that's anytime you're taking pharmaceutical drugs off the street, you're rolling the dice with your fucking life. And that's not even you could be like, oh, I don't even take drugs like that. Well, then it's even more dangerous because you have less of a tolerance, you know what I mean? Like
interesting.
And I'm very, very lucky, and my girl, she noticed a drastic change in my demeanor when I was like, she's like, what's going on? Like something's up, like, you're different, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't like this medication you're on. Like what she doesn't really know too much about. She's, pretty, straight with all that. She don't really fuck with drugs like that, and she never been on that. So she was like, but she knew. She just had, from being around me every day, she knew that this wasn't it.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the doctor and got back on. I actually got prescribed another type of. So I'm no longer on Xanax. I'm completely Xanax free.
Cool.
And I'm on a lower grade benzodiazepine, which is weaning me off of it. As of now, I'm projected to be sometime in September be completely benzo free.
Damn. So in a month.
In a little more than a month.
God damn, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Congrats.
The process could take several months.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I gotta stay focused on it and vigilant about it. And that's really it. It's and it's difficult. And so the number one thing that helps is the fact that I have it in my system. So, you know what I mean? Like, but the anxiety still kicks in, and it's not the same thing. The discomfort kicks in. And what I've found is, I know this might sound corny, but
nah, it's not corny.
Reiki, meditation, listening.
What do you do for meditation?
My girlfriend made me a tape. Marissa made me a tape of. She's actually a Reiki practitioner.
Cool.
And does so I guess I got very lucky with that.
Yeah.
But there's tapes you could Google meditations online. You know what I mean? You could Google Reiki meditations online and all that, and which I recommend doing. And just it's close your eyes, and it's basically meditation. You know what I mean? You're listening and you're picturing different things, picturing colors, inhaling, positive energy, exhaling all the negative thoughts. If all that don't work, I definitely have found that CBD is a helpful alternative.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like I think that, I know some people are hesitant because they don't want to be involved in any type of, drugs or whatever, but CBD has a lot of beneficial medical applications, and it's not like smoking a dude, bro. You know what I mean? It's not gonna you're not gonna be like wicked awesome Bob Marley. You know what I'm saying? Like it's CBD is a legit medication. I prefer the tincture, so it's you don't even need to smoke anything. That's, to me, I'd rather. And I don't mess with CBD very often, you know what I mean? But if my anxiety was so crippling and I didn't know what to do, that would be what I would probably recommend going to first. But but the meditation and all that is so helpful. And I'm at the point now where since the Xanax is out of my system and now it's transitioned to this other medication, it's a lot less intense, and it just, I'm getting more and more used to my anxiety and dealing with it, and
that's great, man.
Realizing that it's just a phase. And anxiety is kind of interesting because it's one of those things that's self-perpetuating, in the sense that if you feel a little bit nervous and you're like, oh, okay, then all of a sudden, oh, I'm really feeling nervous, you could mentally convince yourself, like placebo or whatever, negative, that you're more fucked up than you are, and then that does make your heart beat faster, and then next thing you know, you damn near inducing a seizure, because of negative thoughts, literally. So much of it is the brain frequencies that you emanate, and being aware on how to control those to the best of your ability.
That's amazing.
I know that sounds like a little new agey and shit, but
Not at all, man.
hey, it's either that or you're a fucking dope fiend. Your choice is yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think meditation is good for a lot of things. I've been trying to get into mindfulness really heavy. I mean, my meditation is like super, super light. I haven't really explored any options yet. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm really open to it, actually, but just like breathing
You
exercises.
just picture the Broncos winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for real. Now I've just been like breathing in for like 4 seconds, breathing out, like small stuff before I go to
Breathing
sleep.
is so major.
Yeah, for real.
Breathing and exercise too, which I need to get into more. But anytime, even just like a walk.
Yeah.
When you feel that anxiety.
I know, that's like what I've been telling my parents because, they've gone through some hard issues this year. I'm like, after you eat dinner, just go on a walk. I feel like that solves so many issues. Just going outside, like leaving your like zone that we can like, our den that we can like pack ourselves into so much. And like the only outside window we get is through this like social media. And that's not really healthy. That's how like toxic.
Which is so much toxicity.
Yeah, and just going outside and walking around the block to like clear your head. Like obviously, I'm like lightweight addicted to going to the gym at this point.
Right.
But exercise is, I agree, like one of the best things you can do for yourself. So.
It literally releases the same chemicals that these pills are inducing.
Yeah.
Endorphins, dopamine, all of these things, serotonin, are released by exercise, by physical activity. That's, you know what I mean?
Yep.
One of the reasons why sex feels good. Things like, you know what I mean? It's
for real.
It ain't that deep, you know what I mean? Like, literally, it's the same.
So, I saw a question from the chat that I wanted to ask you. How have you been dealing with stress now? Because stress pushed you originally to kind of like dive into your addictions. How have you been dealing with stress in your current?
Well, it's pretty much the same thing as the anxiety thing, and really like what I try to do is like it's difficult. It's a difficult balance to achieve because when I feel stressed out, oftentimes that leads me right into my anxiety, which makes me want to use. That's my first inclination. But really, the absence of stress is also kind of equivalent to that high as well. So it's like what I try to do is compartmentalize my emotions in the sense that, okay, yes, I'm stressed about this, you know what I mean? Like I owe money for this bill, you know what I mean? But is there anything I can do to pay this bill right now? No, there's not. You know what I mean? There's literally nothing I can do. Yeah. It's 10:45 at night. Yeah. There's nothing I can do. I can't work right now. I can't, you know what I'm saying, do anything about this bill. So I have to go to a place in my head where I'm not tripping on that shit without the chemicals and without pushing all of those stresses to the side where then they wind up, okay, now I'm not feeling any stress, but now my life is slowly deteriorating because my credit score is dropping and my bills aren't getting paid. But this, you know what I mean? Like it's just because I put a blanket over my head doesn't mean it's an invisibility cloak.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
Very true. It's like about like owning up to your responsibilities without letting your responsibilities control your life. Right. So
own up to them, don't let them own you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's, I wish I could say I had it all figured out, but these are the things that I'm literally focused on every day. And
that's great.
And like it's literally as simple as breathing, being present, being in the moments, having people to talk to.
That's a big thing, being in the moment. Do you feel like you were like that ever?
Not in that way. The only times I would choose to be in the moment is if I knew I had a responsibility in a few hours, like I had to go babysit, you know what I'm saying? Or I had to go see my parents, or I had to go be on Ruin Your Day, but I'm fucking yacked out my mind and it's like, well, okay, so let me just enjoy this high for the next couple hours, you know what I mean? That was me being in the moment, you know what I mean? Like I'd be in the moment when I'm hosting a battle, but I know that I owe 6 battlers at this event, fucking thousands of dollars that I don't have, and don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
So it's like you're kind of stressing about that in the back
Right.
of your mind. You're like, this is fun, but I'm really not.
So
here.
I would literally have to compartmentalize that, or else I'm now affecting the quality of the product that I'm even here to be a part of to begin with. Like, I'm making the battle look whack by having weird energy, and now instead of people commenting on fucking Big K or Rum Nitty, they're now like, why is Lush looking like a fucking weirdo? What's he tripping on? You know what I mean? Like, so like those were the times where I would be in the moment. It wasn't necessarily in a positive way though, you know what I mean? Like it's about,
I feel what you're saying.
It's about finding that balance. That's what that is, that's still kind of an avoidance. That's not being fully present. Because if you're fully present and fully within yourself and comfortable in your own skin, you're aware of your shortcomings. You're aware of the issues that you have, but you're focused on ways to overcome them. You're not consumed by them, and you're not overwhelmed by them.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm trying to be at.
Yeah, mindfulness.
Mindfulness, exactly.
Yeah, I've been trying to get there too, man. It's not easy.
It's not.
Yeah. But
if you're not there, then I got a ways to go.
Nah, not at all. We each have our own journey in life. We each have our own perspective. So it's not like, anybody's journey's easier or harder. It's just different. So
I think like what you're doing with this whole thing, creating this community, is so big. And for me, like one of the things, and I'm not a part of the AA fellowship, but what I do really respect about it is how, one of their whole things is if you're having a hard time, you have a support system of people to reach out to.
Yeah, exactly.
And if someone else is having a hard time, you have to be there for them to reach out to.
Yeah.
So one of the big things for me is helping out other people, like my supporters, my fans, whatever, all the jits that post the rooster emojis, like, I spend hours talking to people on the phone that on IG, on the phone, meeting up with them in person even, you feel me? Like, talking about...
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people telling me that, actually, too.
Yeah, like, I've gone, I remember even, there's a time last year, like, all artists have people that hit them up like that, and one of my homies who's a dope artist, he made a post like, hey, like, who I'm close with and work close with, he was like, I'm not really, like, big on talking about this type of issues, but you know what? Anyone that's having, issues with, feeling bad about themselves, feeling suicidal, feeling this, feeling that, holler at Lush, because he's, he will talk to you and he's down for it. And I am, and I will, and to me, it's a two-way street. That's not only me helping them, that's me helping myself as well. Yeah. Because now, like, we're growing together, we're forming this bond, this community, and I'm realizing, damn, what this dude's going through, I can relate to everything this motherfucker's saying, even though, could be his 15-year-old kid in another country. You feel me? Like, but we still have this common ground, and we now have this thing. Like, I always know that I'm not as much of a fucking freak. I'm not as much of a weirdo. I'm not as I think I am, because there's other people out there going through the
same thing.
You know what I mean? And so that really helps a lot. And that's, why I think what you're doing with this whole, Ruin Your Hour program is so fire, because it's creating a place for these people. And hopefully a bunch of people are, making camaraderie in the chat and linking up with each other and continuing this other places.
Exactly.
This is a dialogue that doesn't need to be done when this show is done.
Yeah, it can continue for however long you want, just like AA or any other self-help program. So
right, you know what I mean? Right. Like, and honestly, reach out to me, all y'all, especially if you have drug issues, but really anything benzodiazepine related, anxiety related. It's my mission in life. It's what I feel like I need to. It's the point that I really need to put out there through my music. You know what I mean? I feel like that's why people know that I'm dope, and some of my music's popped off and this and that, and some of it hasn't. And I know that that's really the real me, and what I really need to be putting out there is my struggles in this realm, and how I could and it's something that my brother Caddy was so brilliant at, you know what I mean? Like, and not even just like from a perspective of like, I'm sober now and all the skies are blue, you know, everything is great. Like, yeah, like this is how fucking bad it gets. This is me like going through it. Yeah, I feel better when I'm not going through it, and thank God I'm not still in this mind state, because if I wasn't high, I'd be thinking about robbing you to get money to get high. You know what I mean? Like, and so these are all having a fellowship, a community of people to talk to, and having a positive outlet. You know what I mean? Whether that's, you know, even if you love battle rap and even you ain't battling, but you want to write rhymes, you could battle online. You feel me? Like, you know, do something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you need to have that positive outlet.
For real.
No matter what it is, I don't give a fuck if it's playing Tetris.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like playing fucking Fruit Ninja or fucking what was that other weird garden game that fools were playing?
Oh, Candy Crush.
Candy Crush on Facebook with your fucking Aunt Mildred, whatever. You
Very true.
Like whatever it is you need, every human being needs a positive outlet, especially those of us that bear the crux of addiction. Because here's the cool thing about addiction, and this is something my dad said to me at a very young age. I remember being a baby. I was like 3-4 years old, and my dad said, and I was crying about something about why are the kids were like calling me different today and making fun of me for being different, like, you know, like they were making fun of me because they wanted to play capture the flag or some sport, but I was like wanted to like play some make-believe imaginary game where I was like a fighter pilot or whatever, you know what I mean, like some weirdo shit, like, and my dad was like, you know what, Nicky, you know what you have, and I'm really sorry that I gave this to you, but you got this gene. And this is like before this was even like common rhetoric and stuff. So my dad was hip to the game. He's like, I call it a touch of the poet, but what people call it is an addictive personality. And basically, what it is, it's a fire hose. No phallic symbol. You know what I'm saying? It's a fire hose, and you know the way when you turn on a fire hose, it flails in all fucking directions. It takes 7 brolic men bigger than you to fucking direct that shit. You know what I mean? Or else it just goes everywhere and leaves a path of destruction in its wake, like I do. But if you direct that fire hose, you can do incredible things, and that's what he compared my addictive personality to. And it was my addictive personality that has been able to achieve anything that I've ever had. My addictive personality that decided that fucking, a white kid from West LA should be a fucking rapper. You know what I mean? Like, in the 90s when that was unheard of. You know what I mean? Before Eminem, all that shit.
Your personality also brought together like some of the best battle events that ever happened, period. It started the scene, brought me. I would not be here without you. So
wow,
it's like,
that's crazy.
It's brought all this culmination into reality.
Yeah, anything I've ever done in battle rap, all these, have like my crazy outlandish ambition that was like, we're finna do this and figure out the details later. Like, I don't have anyone to pay the money, but yo, Cassidy, you want more money than I've made in my life to do one battle? Like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where that comes from.
Yeah, that's hella dope. Yeah, my friend Chris told me a cool quote today that kind of goes in line with that. That said, like, a gust of wind can blow out a candle, but a gust of wind can also help grow a forest fire.
Facts.
So that was like a hella cool quote.
Facts.
But yeah, man, that's really cool. I'm really, really proud of you and your growth and like what direction you're going in right now.
I still got a long ways to go, and I
like that. I like that you said that because
I
have a long ways to go myself, and knowing that though, like, that's strength right there.
Yeah, well, it's good that I'm not delusional.
You're not like, I'm here, I made it.
You know what I mean? Like, here's my 60-day chip. You know what I mean? Like,
for real.
Yeah, I'm. It's funny because there's a bar. There's a bar in Oakland that would let you trade in 60-day chips and 30-day chips for a free shot.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is gnarly.
Kind of gnarly, but it's also
gnarly.
Pretty fucking funny.
Yeah,
too,
it's pretty crazy.
I mean?
That's pretty wild. But I want to open up the chat if you guys want to ask Lush any questions about anything.
Anything, for real.
Yeah, just go in. I'm gonna pan up to see. I think there might have been some questions. Scotty, congrats on everything, dog.
Yeah, y'all keep me going all the times I hear y'all sobriety stories just to reiterate it, it is very, very important if you're addicted to benzodiazepines of any kind. First of all, look up benzodiazepine withdrawal to see, there's not just, don't listen to me. Read the several medical journals and the doctors and what they have to say about it. You know what I mean? Do not stop taking that without a doctor's supervision.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
To get professional help.
You literally, you need to. Or else you could literally have it. You most likely will. If you don't have a seizure, you will have some type of nerve damage, and you know what I'm saying? It makes you look like a little bit like Alex Keaton, you know what I mean?
Word. That's kind of a battle rap question. I don't want to go down that path. Let's see. Just waiting for the chat to catch up.
Who do you got, Swave or Head Ice?
Advice to not get addicted in the first place. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a tough question.
To be honest, if you're asking that question, you're probably not going to be addicted.
Yeah, because you're not going to go down
You
that
don't
path.
have that type of personality to where now anybody, they say you hang out in the barbershop long enough, you finna get your hair cut. You know what I mean? Like, I would say avoid immersing yourself around people that do drugs and are addicted to the drugs to the point where that becomes normalized in your head. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because right now, like if this was a year ago, it was normalized to drink on watch. Yeah. You feel me? Like big bottles, big blunts, whatever. So it was like to the point where like that slowly happened over time. At first it was, you guys smoke outside. You know what I'm saying? Then it was okay, I guess you could smoke one blunt here, and then it was smoke in the air. You can't even see the fucking camera. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
for real.
It just became, then it was, okay, we could have a few beers, and then it was, multiple handles every time, you know what I mean? Like, and that just becomes normalized because of who we surround ourselves with. And so you got to be very aware of the people that you're around and how that affects you.
Yeah, that's true. Chris Anderson, he says something pretty cool. Honestly, Lush, since watching you from middle school battle events, I just want to say I've seen your health go up and down, and you look so much better now. I just want to say bro. I'm happy to see you doing better.
Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate that for real, Chris. You know what I mean? Like it's something that can't be denied. I don't really, I'm someone that wears my emotions on my sleeves to begin with, and you can't really hide physical deterioration. Now I'm still dealing with the negative physical effects from what I've done to my body for all these years. It's fucked up. There's people that get sober, completely sober, have years sober, will be sober for 2 or 3 years, then all of a sudden get a heart attack because of shit they were doing at a Jerry Garcia concert decades ago. It happens.
Yeah, totally.
I've seen it happen multiple times. So it's like, there's no better time than now to get healthy and to
completely agree with
to recalibrate and refocus your energy. For me, it's a constant thing. It's something I always have to be aware of. I wish I knew all the answers, but what I can say is I'm out here fighting my best. You know what I mean? Like literally going to war with my demons on a daily basis. They've knocked me on the canvas so many times. There's a permanent imprint. There's like a chalk outline of my neck and my back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you keep getting back up.
And that's another thing. Like drugs, really, people are under this false assumption that are in the arts that drugs enhance your performance musically. Now I can see why they say that, but it's absolutely not true. You have that in you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have all of that in you.
Yeah.
It's just about accessing it. If anything, drugs create the illusion that you're doing way better than you are, and you just you become narcissistically in love with the sound of your own voice, and you're just like, oh man, I'm fucking awesome, this is a dope song that I made, when really it's not that fucking tight, bro. You know what I mean?
Johnny Farias asked a pretty good question. Hold on,
What's
let
up,
me get
John?
to it.
John, bring
He
the
said,
phenomenon.
how do you deal with your feelings of depression and want to commit suicide? I've been dealing with heavy depression and at times suicidal thoughts for about 2 years.
I feel you, bro. It's a really, it's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a very subjective question because everybody's different.
For
and,
sure.
You know, we don't know the circumstances of every individual's life.
Yeah.
But, for me, there's a few things that prevent me from going there, and that's, you know, this might be irrational, but, you know, there's the fear of, what if I kill myself and I go to hell? Because Jesus said that's what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's probably not true, but what if?
Yeah.
And is it risk rolling the dice for eternal damnation? Not really. You feel me? Like, that's definitely scary to me. Maybe it's because how I was raised. But
Yeah.
that's terrifying. The thought of letting, even though sometimes I feel like nobody cares about me, and like I'll be like, no one really gives a fuck if I die. That's not true.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's definitely not
Because
true.
that's what all these people that killed themselves think, and then they're leaving so many devastated people that they don't even realize would be affected to the extent they were. Like, I have too much of a heart. Like, I don't want to hurt other people.
Yeah.
And then there's this part of me that, you know, I felt like such a sucker. I felt like such a lame, such a loser, such a fucking failure, such a piece of shit, such a scumbag, you know.
Yeah.
Every negative thing, like I'm fucking, you know, not worth anything. I fucking chased away everybody that's close to me, you know, chased away my parents who would have gone to the end of the earth to me, chased away women that would have given me kidneys, you know what I'm saying? Like everything. And it's still like, I do not want to allow, I don't want to allow the haters, the naysayers, all those people to believe in me. I don't want to prove them right. As bad as I feel about myself, as dark as it is, like nah.
You still believe in
I'm
yourself.
not. Yeah, I'm not going out like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and sometimes I have to force myself to feel that way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'll listen to a bunch of like depressing music, like and some that could be good or bad. You know what I mean? But for
Yeah.
me, like the song that I listen to, if you ever hear me play the song "Death Around the Corner" by Tupac, that's a sign that I'm very depressed. That's my go-to song of depression, and I start out listening to it wanting to I'm crying normally when I listen to it the whole way through, but afterwards I feel like punching something.
Hell yeah.
It just pumps me up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's like a release.
It's a release. Like,
Yeah.
here, you know what I mean? Like dark, you know, Biggie Small, Suicidal Thoughts, you know what I'm saying? All those songs, like, really, really, like, but the fact that there's these people that are echoing my exact sentiments, that feelings, it makes me feel not alone, you know what I mean? I think, really, that was so long-winded, really what I could have said is, I reach out. And when my instinct is to not reach out, you know what I mean? I fight that, and luckily I have people that the people that I deal with every day, because I don't even deal with my best friends, a lot of them every day at this point, because I'm really just focused on my recovery and my regime and getting to where I'm supposed to be to, for the first time in my life, be a fully functional adult. I've never as a man been fully functional, and you know, I've been on medication since I was fucking 11, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
I've never been fully functional. You know, again, I'm so lucky that I have Marissa, because she can sense it in me before I even am verbalizing that it's not there. But you know, even if you feel like you have nobody, and you want to kill your motherfucking self, hit me up before you do it. Hit me up.
Yeah,
straight
reach
the
out.
fuck up, dude.
Reach out to anybody.
Yeah, anybody. You
Yeah.
feel me? But like, you have full permission to hit me up. You know what I mean? Like,
That's awesome.
if I'll never deliberately ignore a message like of that nature. If I happen to miss it, I will see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it's in my spam box folder, you know, within a couple days, I will see it. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I had all the answers. I wish I could, you know what I mean? But you're talking to somebody that's going through it himself. So
Yeah, you're still finding the way.
and I'm
so.
not far removed from whatever y'all is going through. Like, I'm right here. So you
For
know
sure.
what I mean? We could be brothers and sisters in this process and fight these demons together. You know?
Hell yeah. Cole Obsidian asks.
It took 10 X-Men to beat Magneto.
Lush, how do you cope with being at events where people are doing drugs and drinking? P.S. I'm a med student, and you're 100% right about benzo withdrawal.
Thank you for acknowledging that for the other people, because that's important. People, you know, oftentimes get that so misconstrued. So, luckily for me, I'm not an alcoholic. Now, I shouldn't really be drinking. I'll drink occasionally, but drinking and benzodiazepine go hand in hand, and it intensifies the effect.
Yeah.
So it's dangerous for me to drink too much because
you'll get triggered.
Well, beyond getting triggered, it literally is, it fucks off the regime that my doctor has me on.
Okay, I see what you're
because
saying. Yeah.
like I'm on this amount of medication, not with this other additive, which then changes the entire dynamic. So the most important thing to do with your doctor, and I know this goes against all of our instincts, you know what I mean, is you got to be honest with your fucking doctor. So when I told my doctor, yeah, you know, in the interim, I've been getting this off the street. I think some of it was actually no bueno, was cut with some fentanyl, you feel me? I was honest about that. When I've been, you know, I drink sometimes and I'm honest about it, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
good.
And because it's not doing me any justice having my doctor recalibrating the program.
There for yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, but events, you know, luckily, people don't pop downers at events. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's not the type of party it typically is. You see people falling asleep. So, you know, events aren't necessarily a trigger for me. Now, this leading up to the events, the preparation.
That's where like the anxiety.
That's the
comes into
anxiety.
play. Okay.
And even like the little things like, oh, like before the event, like what if somebody from my past that I got problems with is gonna show up and try to do something to me or embarrass me today, or you know, like what if you know, like they don't, what if I'm gonna show up and I'm like, and no one really cares, or like the crowd doesn't like my jokes, or you know, the what if all these thoughts are going through my head. Obviously I do great intros, I'll never no, but you know what I'm saying? Like oh shit, maybe like I shouldn't be going to this battle with the expectation of being the host. Maybe, you know, I'm not even gonna host, and then that makes me nervous. That you know what I mean. So all these different things, these, you know, the self-doubt, the anxiety, the stress, the you know, like fuck, oh shit, I haven't, like, where am I gonna get this last bit of money I owe this battler for, like all that shit. So, you know, it's good that, you know, I've settled more into a role in battle rap of being what's it called, like independent contractor. I'm a host. I'm a, you know what I mean, I'm a personality, I'm a spokesman, and yes, I am involved in event coordination, but not to the same extent as I was before, as to where all that responsibility
lies on your shoulders,
falls on my shoulders, and my shoulders alone at times, which it would, you know what I mean? Like, and so that, it's definitely like, and it's not even just battle events. Like if I have a show, if I even coming here today, you know, I was nervous, you know what I mean, about that, and just being in public, all that, you know, like that's when the nervousness kicks in, and that's when I gotta, you know, hit them breathing exercises, listen to music that I like, you know what I mean, like just creating a positive aura. I think here's a huge difference: having a clean house, having a clean car. You know what I mean? Like that mess. It just, like when you wake up, just surrounded by like all your dirty clothes. You know what I mean? That haven't been washed, and you know, like I was living my ex-wife, a bunch of her shit was still in my room, like laying
Yeah.
around, like, so it's like you're confronted by your failures, you're seeing,
Uh-huh.
and it looks messy and it's chaotic, and it's,
Yeah.
it's like that right there would add so many layers of stress that I wasn't even aware of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the point where, like, being in a calm, tranquil environment, adds so much.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a real good point.
That's huge for me.
Just going through to see if there's any more.
Like, now I actually sleep. Like, I sleep, and like now, like, yeah, my lady has a hard time waking me up in the morning. When before I couldn't get more than a few hours of sleep,
Yeah.
and that's due to the fact that my environment is so tranquil. Like,
That's
where
awesome.
I live, it's a big building, thousands of people live there, but it's quiet. The part of
Yeah.
the building where I live is the quietest place I've ever lived in. There's not even
That's crazy.
literally,
considering
you
where
know what I
live.
mean? Like, literally,
That's
like,
dope
I've
as fuck,
lived
man.
in the projects in East Oakland. You
Yeah.
feel me? Like, all these crazy loud places, and like even it's quieter than my parents' house in Santa Monica. There's
Yeah.
still more. I still hear more like maintenance,
Yeah.
like street work going on and stuff. Like, I don't hear nothing in my double pillow top mattress that that I got, and just the water fountain outside. All these things are adding to the serenity, and the energy crystals that my girl is zapped with positive intentions and
Yeah.
energy and all that. Like, whether or not you believe in that, that shit just feels good. You know what I mean? I believe in it because
Yeah.
I believe in energy. But I know a lot of people look at that as new age psychobabble mumbo jumbo. But like, that's what works for me.
Yeah.
All that amalgam of all those different factors. That's what helps reduce the stress to the point where
Completely makes sense, man. You're a product of your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're putting in a positive environment, you're going to come out more positive than you were before.
Absolutely.
So that makes 100% sense.
And I changed my phone number, so a lot of most people don't have access to me as easily as I do. Yes, you could access me through the internet. I'm very, very accessible. But like, if my phone's gonna ring, there's only a handful of people that know that number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get random calls from people that used to try to get drugs with me or this or that, or people that I have problems with, or homies that are in fucking prison that are gonna just do nothing but stress me out at this point, or I can't do
Yeah.
nothing to help. And,
Yeah.
so that right there, just I'm very almost quarantined
Yeah.
to a degree.
Yeah. Totally. All right. I think the questions have kind of gone away. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Here, let me look at my notes that I had written actually, because
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Go for it.
I might have but yeah, this would definitely be the this would be a time if you have any final questions. Talk to friends daily. Anxiety, withdrawal, remembering the wreckage, addiction origins, stories, music. Literally, everything that we talked about everything
Word.
that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, literally, yeah. Oh, here's another really embarrassing moment that I look back to that makes me not want to like, and that's
See, but you bring up a good point, because I use this too, of bringing, like, a lot of times, like, to be honest, I'm like almost never triggered to drink. I've been triggered to drink once in the past year, and that was on New Year's when I was like alone and bored and like lonely, and I was like, fuck, nobody wants to hang out with me because I'm sober. Maybe I should just go drink, and then I'll have fun with my friends.
That's funny because I bottomed out on Easter. That was my lowest moment.
Word.
That was all.
But thinking about like how you'll feel after and like how shitty you feel, so I think bringing up those rock bottoms.
Oh, yeah.
Is good.
It's good to see how you look.
Yeah.
And that's why it's kind of cool that a lot of my ebbs and flows have been in
on
the public
camera,
eye, so
yeah.
I can look back as a frame of reference. Probably the most embarrassing thing to look back at in my whole battle rap career was an interview that Hip Hop DX did immediately after the Mathverse disaster battle.
Uh-huh.
And I was, during that era, I was always on drugs at events. You know what I mean? I'd be like on ecstasy, things like that, Adderalls, whatever. And I was like foaming at the mouth, looking all crazy, like scattered and shit. And I got on camera and was like trying to, in my eyes, what I was trying to do in my fucked up haze of perspective was I'm trying to, okay, I need to diffuse this right now, and I need to, before the media starts going crazy and you know, talking about this, how this fight happened, and this was, I wanted to redirect the attention. Obviously, that's what's going to happen. There's nothing that could be said to change that energy or diffuse it. Period.
For
you know what I mean? Like, you could have fucking like Winston Churchill in his prime type speech, and that's not going to change the dynamic of that. You know what I mean? Like, but I wanted people to remember, like, you know, we just had a crazy event full of amazing battles that, you know, I personally spent a grip of money on, and you know, other people did too, and we all worked so hard for it, and I didn't want that to get overshadowed by that moment. So I go on there and I start trying to diffuse it. Like, everything's okay. Blah, blah, blah. I look like fucking Tyrone Biggums. Like I know I always tend to get little spittle on this. I'm constantly plagued by that. That's probably main reason why I'm not a famous rapper, guys. You know what I mean? But it's totally the dope.
So you just look at this video and you you can just see.
Now I look crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
And the things that I was saying, like, I was like, everything's gonna be okay. It's fine. You know, like, it sucks. And they were like, well, what about this math battle? Like, is like, because I was talking about there's so many. We just had a classic battle with Daylight and Charlie Clips, and I'm talking about the different classic things that just happened. He's like, and my dumbass, and I didn't mean it how I said it, but I said it like this. I said, it's like, you know, it's a shame that this battle turned out like this, because now what people are going to remember is the punch is a classic, not the battle. But really what I want to say is, like, people are getting, like, I phrased it completely wrong.
I know what you're trying to say, for sure.
So Hip Hop DX, and then consequently DJ Vlad's headline was Lush One says the disaster math punch was classic. And you see me looking like a fucking basshead. And you know that dude Star?
Yeah.
You know, Star, actually, have been a fan of Stars for years. Since I used to read him in The Source in the 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he hosted a smack battle.
Yeah, exactly, you know what I mean? He's you know, big figure in hip-hop culture, you know. And Star went off on me. He like rants about, like, who is this white devil, culture vulture, basshead with the fucking spit coming out his mouth. He went on this whole. Now me and Star are mad cool, and you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even fight back. I was like, you know, I know that looked bad, bro, but you know, like, that was fucked up. You right? Like, and he was actually mad cool about it. And then you know what I'm saying? But that right there, you know, and I remember. Brigante hit me up and was like, man, you need some motherfucking media training, bro. What the fuck was that interview you just did? Like, everybody just was like, you look, you know what I mean? Like, so that right there, it was a hugely embarrassing moment. Obviously, that was, 5 years ago? Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
A little more than 5. So that wasn't enough to wake me up. But now that I actually have a little bit of clarity, lucidity, sober time under my belt, you know, like, I'm able to reflect back, and things like that are a device I use to I don't ever want to look like that again.
That's good.
I mean,
that's very good, man. So Amy asked a question.
Oh, one more thing. Sorry.
Go for it. Man,
this is humiliating. I had so many supportive fans, you know, that they knew that I was struggling, but they were happy that I was making music again, and we did the MP4 shit, and then I did my Above the Devil album, which we streamed on here, and you know, people were fucking with it and shit, and I actually had hundreds of people buy my album, see, like, physical copies, and I was so fucked up I never mailed out any of the music. So I owe hundreds of people that are some of them were my closest fans. And biggest supporters, just wanted to fucking show love. They could get the music for free online. They wanted, you know what I mean? Someone were, can you autograph it for me? Like, and I didn't send it out, and I feel awful about that. And I plan to rectify that at some point. You know what I mean? And that right there, you know, was a direct result of the negligence of my addiction, and that's something that that really hurts me to my core. That the people that had my back, that the people that are defending when all the people are like, oh, Lush One's a fucking junkie or Lush One's fucking trash. These are the people that are defending me that I'm trying to make proud, and I fucked them over.
Yeah.
No excuse for that, and I'm going to make that right. And I just want people to know, because I'm sure there might be a few of them watching this right now, how bad I feel about that.
That's good, man. That's good that you have that post feeling about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry to interrupt the question.
No, it's all good. Amy Barton asked, I don't really know if me or Lush are really like the authoritative figures to answer this. I don't really know even how to answer this, but I think it's an interesting thing to bring up. Generally, there are people who don't want to reach out for all those reasons described. How do you really encourage somebody to do so as somebody who's been in this situation like yourself? Like, if you're like in the throes of depression or like addiction, how do you really encourage people to reach out?
I think that for those people, I would, and like you said, you're correct. I don't think that I'm the authority on this, but I think that I've been to so many psychologists over the years and have been in so much therapy that I really do have a pretty firm grasp on Freudian theories and Carl Jung and all that. I feel like I can answer this, and now if this is wrong, anybody that's been to medical school, please correct me. Now, I believe that the people that are just too scared to even reach out, there's a place of shame and embarrassment where that's coming from. I would say do it in an anonymous way. It would be the best way to do it. You don't have to, make a new Instagram account or make
just a burner Twitter and then just reach out to somebody.
Exactly. Be a little eggshell, you feel me? Like catfish, whatever, you feel me?
Yeah.
And just reach out through there so it doesn't have to. That way it kind of, it impersonalizes it a little bit. It doesn't make, that pressure is not on you. Now it's, this is Jack Sparrow asking this question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is coming from, Lindsay Lohan, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not coming from you, so you don't have to. That, to me, that would be the best advice I could give as to where. But if there's still something else psychologically inhibiting that, then there's probably another device that works for that. But I think that the people that feel guilt or shame to reach out, do it through someone else. Maybe you've done something that you're really embarrassed about, and you want to talk about it, and you want to process it, but you're afraid of people judging you. You know what I mean? Shit, maybe you got some really fucked up sick thoughts. Maybe you fucking have thoughts of molesting kids, or what I'm saying, or raping women, or like becoming a mass shooter, and you can't go to a therapist about that because they have to report you for that. You know what I mean? But there's still people like me, people like, that if you reach out to and you have a genuine desire to help yourself, and, you ain't gonna get no judgment over here, and if I was gonna judge you, I'm judging an anonymous account.
Yeah, for
so
real.
It don't even matter,
Yeah, I think also to add on to that, if you know somebody that's going through addiction, and somebody that's going through heavy depression and it's getting bad, you can only do so much. At some point, that person's going to want to help themselves, and you can only put yourself you can extend the olive branch so far. So there's going to be a point where it's like you've done enough, and the best thing is to actually back off a little bit too, because if you're suffocating somebody with you need to go get help, they're going to want to pull back.
That fosters codependency too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For real.
And then if God forbid you happen to slip up in any way, then their program's immediately fucked off.
For real.
Know what I mean?
For real.
It's a very, very tricky thing right there. You know what I mean? I think that having someone to be accountable to is great, but you got to be accountable to yourself, and you got to truly want these changes, or else it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's something that only can come from you. You wanting to get sober, you wanting to back away from any addiction you have is not going to come from anywhere else but yourself. And I feel like me and you can both resonate with that. I didn't want to stop drinking until I was 34.
Right. Yeah.
So it's and plenty of, I've ruined relationships because of drinking, So.
And doesn't it feel so much better to actually, it takes away so much of the power of the things that are holding you back, and making you nervous and making you insecure when you actually speak about it. Like, yeah, this happened to me. You feel me? Like, yeah, like, you know, like I went through a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had my best homies fucking skate on me. You know what I'm saying? I had, you know, like, I stole money from people I care about. You know, I did things that are fucking despicable. You know what I mean?
Because
like,
speaking about it also holds you accountable to it. Because
Right.
it becomes real when you're saying it. That's a lot of times why people don't want to talk about those things, because like, oh, if I say it, it will be real, you know? So especially doing it publicly, like, you know, it not only gives other people strength, but it gives you sort of like, I did that,
Right.
you know? So
And yeah, and other people, like, you see how many other people have gone through the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much a testimony to the fact that this is a disease. Now, I know people don't like to classify it as that. It's not like whoa, like you don't fucking smoke cancer and have it, you know what I mean? Like, or with all that shit. Like, you're right. It's not. There is a choice involved. There is a choice.
Sure.
There's also a choice to have unprotected sex and get AIDS.
Yeah.
There's also a choice involved in, you know, chewing tobacco and getting mouth cancer. Like, there's these. Yes, there's some things that are beyond our control. You know what I mean? Like, but the majority of physical ailments that happen are all preventable to a certain extent, and they all have to. If you're that vigilant about your health, then be like fucking Dr. Sebi said and eat only raw foods, and you know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
And then you'll never get sick or anything, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So yes, drug addiction is a disease, and everything we've been speaking on, the fact that there's so many similarities and the proclivity that people have to be geared in that direction, and then other people could do cocaine all night and never want to do it again, that shows right there that there's...
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, like some people can be perfectly fine with having a beer. I'm not one of those people, you know, or like having a beer, only half a beer. Like,
Right.
I'm like, no, finish it. Why? There's more beer, you know?
Come on, be a man.
Yeah, there's more in the fridge. Drink all that, you know? So you're right. It's different for every person. But yeah, man, I mean, I just want to congratulate you. You're doing so good, you know.
Thank you.
I know
I
there's a
appreciate
long
it.
road still ahead of you.
Long road.
But that's part of life, and like the journey is the enjoyable part, you know. It's like on this journey you're learning so much more about yourself, and you're becoming a stronger human. It's not like the goal one day you're going to get there and then I'm going to be happy, you know.
Right.
It's like you're finding happiness along the way too. So
Exactly. Like, I remember, like, early in my rap career when I was, you know, Delmon Crew, Oakland, before the battle rap thing was really popping off and shit.
Yeah.
And we were doing little, like, hole-in-the-wall shows, rapping for 50 people, and, like, you know, it was dope, but we wanted it to be way bigger. And I remember my boy Ajax, one of my bandmates, my brother, was all like, he's like, just know, one day, we gonna look back at this as the good times. And I was thinking, like, man, you crazy. I'm going to look at it as the good times when I'm whipping a Mozzie and fucking I'm on the radio and whoopty-whoopty-whoop.
Yeah.
But he was absolutely right. That was the good times.
For sure.
So this is that era for our recovery. This is the good times.
Yeah.
Ground zero, ground floor.
Totally agree. Yeah, man, I want to thank you for coming on. This has been really cool. I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing with the show in the first place. I just wanted a place for people to talk. So I think it's really cool that you came on and like talked about your issues with addiction, because I know that's been a big aspect of your life and you as a human. And I think it humanizes you to a lot of these people too.
That's what's up. I hope people glean something from it. And like we said before, the conversation don't gotta end right here. You know what I mean? I know there's videos you can watch and all that, but reach out, hit me up. I don't know if the Ruin Your Day Facebook group is a place for these discussions, or if there's...
I mean, any places. I don't mind at all. If people want to talk about it in there, that's cool. Like, you know, I think
even perhaps if maybe this could have its own group.
People were talking about a Discord. I don't really know what a Discord is too much. I mean, isn't it
I think
just
it's like
a big
Tiny Chat, but with just vocals.
Yeah, so it's like I'm open to that. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to a lot of things. I don't think like there's anything yes or no.
Yeah. I just think it's dope, and I think the dialogue definitely should continue. And like I said, rain, sleet, snow, sunshine, morning, noon, night. Holler at me. I'm here for y'all, because I am y'all.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This was a special episode, so we went over an hour, but tune in next week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Ruin an Hour, and watch Summer Impact this weekend.
Peep that. And I'll be in the chat next Wednesday.
All right, guys. Peace out.